If you're a professional speaker working in the corporate market and you're not getting on TV interviews on a regular basis on ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, CNN, all the major networks, if you're not getting on those shows as a content expert and you're working in corporate America as a speaker, you are losing hundreds of thousands of dollars. And if you're a major name speaker, you are losing millions. Over the past 2 years, just since COVID, I've done 263 television interviews on all the major networks you can imagine, and in the United States and Canada, and many throughout the world. And so why? Why do speakers go on TV, the ones that understand how this works? Why do we do it? Do we get paid to go on TV? Do the networks pay us? The answer is no. Typically, we pay for our expenses. Now you can do it over Zoom, so it's a lot less expensive than it used to be, which is why I'm making this video, because you have to do this if you're going to be in corporate. And what a lot of people are saying now is they'll say, well, podcasts are more important now because it's the new thing, podcasts and getting on YouTube channels and those types of things. Okay, here's where I dispute that. I don't say those things are wrong. They're all good. Get on all of them that you can. But here's why traditional television and the mass media is still more important and carries more weight in corporate America. Because the people that hire us in corporate are not 30 years old, and most of them are not 40 years old. They're 50, 60, and 65 years old, and they grew up on television just like I did, and people over, say, 45 did, and they're the ones with the budgets big enough to hire us, and then eventually, if you know what you're doing, buy $1 million contracts from us to solve problems that they have. So that group of people, that demographic, is used to getting their information from regular television, not from podcasts, not from YouTube, not from Twitter, not from Instagram, not from, any of the other social media outlets. All those things are great. TikTok, all the rest of them are great. I use them. I'm using them right now. Okay, but you want to get on as many regular television shows as you can, because this medium is still the most credible medium out there. Now, why have I gone on almost 1,000 television shows in the last 15 years as a non-celebrity corporate speaker working with large sales teams? I'll tell you exactly why and how it's made me millions of dollars. Because when I go head to head with a speaker with a bigger name, okay, which I do a lot because my fee is relatively high, okay, for a non-celebrity. And so a lot of times I'm going up against speakers with way bigger names, more popularity, more books, bigger fan base, just about everything you can. They beat me in every category, in other words, a lot of times when I go up against them for national conventions of companies like Microsoft and Procter & Gamble and those kinds of companies. And a lot of times I still win, because what I say to the corporate client is this. When anything happens in the psychological performance space, the media calls us first. Why? Because we're known to them. We're a known source to the mass media, and none of my competitors are. Zero. Even though if I told you my competitors, you probably know their names more than you know mine, because they're technically bigger names in the public market, but in the corporate market and in television, they're not. So I sell to my buyer based on one of my greatest strengths, which is I'm known to the national press, especially television, because I've done so many hundreds of shows over the years. That's why you want to use television, while television is still relevant probably for the next 8 or 10 years. Who knows what will happen after that? Still use all the other mediums. I am too. I'm out there on all the different platforms, and not all of them, but a lot of them, just like the one on YouTube right now. LinkedIn, lots of them, like you are probably. But right now, the buyers are still steeped in traditional media because it has a lot more credibility. And nothing in the corporate world sells like credibility. Why? Because they're the richest entities in the history of the world. They can have anyone they want. They can pay any amount. These companies have billions with a B, of dollars in what we would call in the small business market petty cash. I mean, literally money just sitting, billions of dollars sitting there just for investments or lawsuits or anything, new hiring, new, opening up new offices, new buildings, whatever, just billions of dollars. They are so insanely rich. The world has never seen anything like it in a history. So they can have anything they want. They can hire anyone they want. So who are they going to hire? They're going to hire the person most likely that has the most visibility and the most credibility. Not the person who's most well known in the personal development market or who sold the most books necessarily. They're going to hire the person that has the most credibility, and they connect credibility with television more than any other source. That's why you have got, I mean, you're losing a fortune if you're not on TV, and most speakers are not. I hardly see any major speakers. When I used to travel before COVID and go to all these TV stations all over the country and then lots of them internationally, I never saw speakers. I saw celebrities, I saw singers, dancers, actors, all kinds of people, but hardly ever speakers, because most speakers don't understand what I'm saying. They don't understand how we use it. I'll tell you exactly how we use it the second way I use it, and you can do the exact same thing. I'd recommend you copy this. We've made millions of dollars from it. What they'll say is, oh, really, you're on TV all the time, never seen you. I said, well, if you go to Steve on TV, www.steveontv.com, you can see my last roughly 200 television interviews from around the world, because that's where we post them. And what do? They go to Steve on TV. They probably watch a couple of interviews. They see all the cities I'm in. That's just a partial list. And they see how overwhelmingly the media supports my work, and they come to me when it's something that happens around psychology, just as I had said when I was in the sales process with the senior executive of a 60 or 70 or 80 billion dollar corporation. Credibility is what they go by in corporate America. Not so much in just personal development in the public, but in corporate America, credibility sells like everything else, and nothing has the kind of credibility that television right now has. If you want to learn how do you get on all these TV shows? Well, that's a whole other topic. If you want a course on how to do it, go to the International Personal Development Association website. It's ipdar.org. ipdar.org, and get the Serban School of Media course. Get the course. Follow the course to the letter. That's what I did, and you'll get on more TV shows than you know what to do with. And then you leverage that credibility to corporations to make a fortune.